time for the final Protoss. He's up against the Zerg player viOLet. And in the chat right now, he's actually asking viOLet to respect him since he's the final Protoss.
What does that actually mean? Don't attack me, just sit there and wait for me until I kill you.
Well, viOLet agreed in chat.
Oh wow, look at that picture. Poor Terran, man.
Yeah, I know. I've been laughing every time I see that.
The Terran in the middle, and he's obliterated from both Zergs and Protoss. And the funny thing, or the sad story is actually it's true.
Listen, as far as cost efficiency goes, man, if there's going to be a Zealot up there at least need to be 2 Marines. And as far as the Hydros goes, maybe he needs a Marauder with him. I'm not sure, but
I feel for the Marine though.
Yeah, I feel for him too.
MVP was the final Marine, and in his group, he didn't win a single best of 3. He actually only won 1 map.
Look at these maps, by the way. All of these maps are good for PartinG. He only has to deal with 1 crazily bad map for Cross, and that's Belshir Vestige.
Yep, we don't have Abyssal City here.
No Abyssal City.
Definitely one of the things that he's pretty happy about. And Giga Shipyard, still one of the maps where a lot of Protoss players are not too happy.
No Whirlwind either.
PartinG has shown in the past that he can make it happen here, even with the 3rd base.
viOLet, man, no maps played on Vestige either.
viOLet is a player who has a couple of strategies prepared here. He was really confident when I talked to him earlier, and he said he knows that he's up against a strong opponent, but he feels good. He thinks that he can take him. He prepared a few strategies, and he's trying to make it work today.
The win rate versus Protoss for viOLet is looking a little bit rough on some of these maps. On the other hand, if you look at PartinG's, man, he did not do very well on Cloud Kingdom, nor did he on Daybreak.
To be completely honest with you, I feel like the win rates for viOLet here are so absolutely insignificant because he just didn't have a lot of games played. On all of these maps, we don't have too many games of him in the GSL, and most of the matches that he played here already a while ago. So for PartinG, this is a little bit more significant. For viOLet, I feel we have to figure in his tournament wins and also, of course, his participations in foreign leagues and tournaments, if we really want to have something to say with some statistics about his maps. But first of all, we have
PartinG's wins in Group A. He took 2nd place, taking out MVP 2-0. Leenock he was not able to win. He was the only player he lost to, though, 2-1. He beat Hero 2-1, and then finally at the end was able to beat Dongrygu 2-1. After Dongrygu on that Entomb Valley, man, he danced his Zerlings, and PartinG cut him apart.
The final toss. Last Protoss player that we have, the last hope for Aya. Players all around the world are watching him. I feel like even the Terran players are just wishing him good luck and crossing their fingers now. He's up against a Zerg once again. This is the only matchup that PartinG will have to play in this tournament if he's able to advance. He's up against viOLet. And look at those games in Group B. He won against Rain, he lost against Seed, and he also lost against Sniper. Won against the Life. Actually, he won against Startail.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, he only had only one Startail opponent, but this guy looks like he defeated the entire team. That's of course not the case.
Yep, that's very true. viOLet, I think, very much the underdog in this case, though. Only having 1 really good Zerg map. The other maps, not so good for him, but he has a lot of experience on them. You know, considering that viOLet doesn't play in the GSL, the only map that's in this pool that he has to play on that you don't see in other tournaments is actually Vestige.
Yeah. viOLet is just a player who has really done well abroad, and he has done very well in his group. So he's up against PartinG now, and there couldn't be a tougher opponent for him. viOLet, especially in this matchup, has been struggling a little bit, lost to Hero in the NASL finals the last season, and well, we are good to go. We have Cloud Kingdom map number 1 in the Blizzard Cup 2012. PartinG versus viOLet, brought to you by Kowloon Wolf. The final toss starts to the bottom left of the map. The Pink Panther, this time in red. Starting for Team Startail, it is... PartinG. Even Street Fighter voice is intimidated by him.
The final Protoss, he's up against the International Zerg, the Surgeon Zerg, formerly an MVP player. Currently for Azubu, he is... Azubu Pilot. Looking really good in that Azuka shirt he's got. I like it.
viOLet in the group, we pointed out earlier, he lost to Seed. Seed took him out without even dropping a map against Rain. viOLet was able to win, but to be completely honest, Rain did not have his best day yesterday. He seemed to be, I don't know, a little bit off. And right now we have viOLet, who is playing in this matchup over and over again. Against Hero, he lost at the NASL Finals with 4-2 in the best of 7. He also lost to another player that I can't find right now. But in general, just like viOLet is doing against Protoss quite well, but his CVZ and his CVT is just a little bit better.
Yeah, very true. There is the pool. viOLet is... I feel like the problem for him is that he just doesn't have as much experience playing against Korean players regularly that these other players have. But he was able to defeat several Koreans to get his win, to get him into this tournament in the first place, though.
I feel viOLet is very, very much underrated, and he's one of the guys who seems to always come in second. There have been jokes from the start that he might take the second place in the Blizzard Cup because that's kind of the standing that he ends up having these days. But on the other hand, you know, he is strong, and he showed it yesterday. He struggled in a few of the games a bit, but he just showed that he can play a very strong late game and that he's a player that people have to be afraid of. And PartinG is definitely not taking this series lightly. It's a good matchup for him. It's a matchup that he likes, where he has coined the immortal push that, yeah, killed so many Zergs. But viOLet is definitely going to do his best here, and apparently he prepared a couple of strategies, so PartinG has to be very careful.
Yeah, very careful indeed. Now we see the Kate going down, of course, after the Forge. I'm really excited to see if he's going to go for immortal pushes, and if he does, how many will he do, because he's got a lot of Zergs to play in this tournament. You know, even if he wins this one, then he has to play the semifinal against a Zerg. Then he'll have a Zerg in the final phase regardless. So, I mean, for him, he's got to make sure that he doesn't use his favorite strategy yet, because that's something that is going to become important later on.
He's flexible. For PartinG, it's not only the immortal push anymore. It's one of the strong weapons in his arsenal, but it's not the only weapon that he has. That is so true. And now we have a map where PartinG already played against opponents who, for example, tried to go for Mutalisk attack. On Cloud Kingdom, a map that Hero, a Protoss player, chose every single time that he was up against the Zerg player and had the map choice. PartinG can take his third base and can try to go in.
Probe sees the third. Not going to try to cannon it, though. On this map, it's a little bit tough to cannon the third, because if you get spotted, then a Queen is just going to walk over and start hitting you from the high ground, first of all, and then you can get the Lings over pretty easily.
The one thing that stands out with PartinG is that he always makes the right decisions. He saw himself faced with a very strong Mutalisk game in the group stage, and he decided to just go for the attack, build a lot of cannons, and he won the game because of it.
That's my favorite game we saw already in this tournament. That particular set, man, is my favorite by far. That just shows a player who knows exactly what he wants and how he wants to take it, and that was just so cool. No hesitation, just somewhere between 10 and 14 cannons at that third base, and he just walked across the map and took that game, put the Zerg player who had an advantage into, for the first time, an awkward position, not knowing exactly what to do. Do I try to use my Mutalisk, which can't really fight an army straight up, or do I go and attack his cannons? Here's the Robo for PartinG. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see the immortal push, but it's entirely possible, and given PartinG's history, I would not be surprised.
This is definitely a good map for the immortal push. We've seen PartinG take a third base in this map, and of course if you go into the robotics, you have the means of taking this third. You want to add up with the additional Twilight Council, get the blink up, but you don't necessarily have to do that. And what's funny to me is that no matter who advances, we will have a match that we've already seen in the recent past. Sniper is waiting in the semifinal, and PartinG, he lost to Sniper with his immortal push in the Code S season. In the last Code S season, Sniper took him out with a 2-0, didn't drop a map against PartinG. This was one of the few losses that PartinG had against Zerg. And of course, viOLet already had to face Sniper. And guess what? Sniper was the one ZVZ player that was not intimidated by viOLet's mirror match up skills at all, and won this without dropping a map. So both of these players faced the semi-final opponent without winning a map against him in the last best of 3 that they played.
That's true. So, I mean, if you consider that, this is just the first of a difficult series of steps these players have to go through to win this tournament. The Overlord will see the Robo, but it was an observer first, and Twilight Council goes down. It's going to be PartinG taking a third base, playing this one safer. He's not going to do his trademark push.
Yeah, he's going to do the strategy that we've seen him play in the group stage against Zerg on Cloud Kingdom. Very strong one as well. And the timings for PartinG are just excellent. viOLet with a bit of a supply block here, he built 6 Overlords. He was supply block for a while and started the Overlords a little bit late, and then when he saw, okay, well, I have the lava and I have the money, so just go into the Overlords and he won't be supply blocked for a long time.
Yeah, it's very true. And whenever you make a choice like this, it's kind of, it works out for you in the end, especially if your opponent is going for a third base and you're not facing any pressure. You don't waste your larva that way, and your, of course, your resources. Everything's lining up nicely for viOLet. He didn't really cut too many corners here. Getting his 11 roaches out now is adding 12 more lings, which are going to line up with Zergling speed pretty nice. He's got +1 with the roach speed, which will allow him to put some pressure on PartinG's third. But because this map is actually a balanced, reasonable map in this matchup, PartinG should actually be able to hold his third base with few losses if he hits his force fields right. If he makes the cannons he's making right now, he's making 2 cannons, in fact, just to be safe.
I have to admit that I personally think that against PartinG it is very, very difficult to crush him on lair tech with roaches and zerglings. I think there are very few players who can really still do this these days. It was, of course, Stefano who kind of coined the strategy, and for a long time he was successful with it. But then players, especially the Protoss players, figured out how to do that. Games against JYP on Daybreak come to mind, but PartinG is also an opponent who makes the right decisions, who knows exactly how to defend, where to position his units, and what timings to use to drop his third base, and what kind of positioning you need with the buildings. 2 cannons already. So viOLet, I feel, is not going to try to crush him on lair. He's already heading into the 4th base, and I feel that we are going to see viOLet aiming for the late game.
Yeah, 13 more drones just added. He's getting +1 finished up. Now we'll start +1 Carapace. Pads and glands go down. He's doing everything right. He's put this fake aggression on. You know, it's what happens is, as a Zerg player, you make those units because you're scared. You don't know exactly what the Protoss is doing, so you got to make this amount of roaches and lings to defend against any sort of push you might see. Then, once you make them and he doesn't attack you, you've got to do something with them. So you put the pressure on PartinG, force those cannons down. Now he's getting his upgrades, and we're going to see, I think Hive started somewhere in the next minute and a half or so. Wants to add some infestors into his army composition first, but you can see he's already built up 750 gas right now.
Important for viOLet is that he just prepares for the late game, and he does this by just, as you already added, going into all these different upgrades, getting his infestors that will give him a bit of safety if PartinG decides to move out, but also the creep spread that he has. Against Protoss, this is a decent creep spread. It's not perfect, and it's not like the creep spread that you would see if you faced a Terran player here, but it's still decent. And the infestors are now, of course, so important because they will make sure that PartinG can't move out with a normal composition.
Yeah.
If he goes out on the map, especially as soon as he starts to fight on creep, he will be fungled, all the sentries will be gone, therefore the defensive shield against the lings and the roaches, he can't afford it. And here we go. Spine crawlers, infestors, trying to just carry the game in the late game, and PartinG will most likely try to hit a timing here to just hit before the Broodlord's out.
He's considering taking a 4th. You know, he sent the probe over, he pulled it back. Changelings go down, trying to scout what PartinG is up to. He obviously sees them right away. And you can see that the Hive is still not started, despite the fact the Spire is coming up, but that's going to mean that he mostly wants to make Corruptors against that possible push we were talking about. Colossi coming out with range. And PartinG, man, he's going to add 3 cannons here, and he says, I'm going to go for the late game. He's going to need a lot more than just 3 cannons, though, to hold this Nexus, and he has to cancel.
He realizes that with the infestors and the entire army here, it's gonna cost him too much to defend it, so he just cancels it. That's a few minerals lost. He can't afford it at this point. It's of course annoying for him, but more annoying is that he's supply blocked now.
Yeah, and he actually, he's really behind here because viOLet is getting all the tech he wants. He can start the Corruptors now. PartinG is stuck on 3 bases, and he can't hit that timing anymore.
Yep, he can't hit the timing, and he goes straight into a Stargate now, so you can already see that he tries to prepare for a Mothership and an Archon Toilet. The upgrades for him are good with a +3 attack coming up, with extended thermal lance now done and charge started. But still, there's the Templar Archive. He wants to go into an Archon Toilet strategy, and that's always gambling a bit.
Yeah. It really is. Warp Prism speed, though, is a great choice for PartinG. That's one thing that you can use in a situation where you're behind to try to target down your opponent's tech, maybe stop his Broodlord production, maybe even, of course, get rid of all the Corruptors. If you get that Spire, you have so many awesome opportunities to conquer your opponent's composition, I guess is the best way to put it. Those cannons will finally finish with PartinG's base here. The Broodlords are not ready, and without Broodlords, he can't attack down this ramp into this many cannons.
The problem that you really have in this matchup, which is why a lot of people argue about balance, is that in the early stages, Protoss is so strong against Zerg. Those 2-base timings can be crazy good, but Zergs try to figure out a little bit more how to survive. And as soon as you hit this mid-game, a Zerg player can just delay his opponent for this long. And the late game, it just turns around. The Zerg is getting crazy strong against the Protoss, and the only hope that the Protoss player has most of the time is to hit this Vortex and to go for the Archon Toilet. So you have these two timings in the game, these two phases, where a different party is stronger, has an advantage, and PartinG decided to not go for an early aggression here, but to take it into the late game and not even try to hit a timing before Broodlords, but gamble with the Archon Toilet. And this is a very, very different thing to pull off. Only a few Protoss players can do it, and viOLet is definitely feeling very, very confident.
Yeah, he's got to feel good here. He has 20 Spine Crawlers finished now. 20. And that means that anything that PartinG tries to do without maneuvering around those Spine Crawlers is going to become not 20 times harder, but he's going to have 20 spines poking at him. 11 Broodlords coming down as well. viOLet, I feel like, is doing this exactly like every Zerg would want to play this matchup on this map. He's just getting every little advantage that you would want to have as a Zerg. He loses his hatchery, his 5th base to the top left without being able to mine from it, but that's okay.
The mothership has been started, and viOLet is now on Broodlord tech. He has 11 of them. Adrenal Glance is also on its way. We have the +2 attack upgrade.
Uh-oh, though.
And PartinG can't fight here.
He could fight away from the Broodlords, though, with his army. If he had been able to trap that, that would have been a different story. Because this small Roach force is actually away from the Broodlords, but he's going to pull it back to those spines, back to the Broods. PartinG warping in Zealots here to go for a little bit more harassment at the 5th base. And remember, guys, PartinG has that 5th base to the bottom right.
Yeah, but that was actually well done what he just did. He actually sends one Zealot over to the top left, and the rest he uses for the main base, and the speed for the War Prism is done. And this is one of the things that a lot of Protoss players will rely on.
Spores aren't ready.
A speed War Prism, because the Broodlords are just slow with their defense. So he's trying to use this to his advantage. And here we have the drop. Does he warp in units to take down the Greater Spire?
He's maxed, so he can't do it just yet, but even with 4 Zealots here, he may be able to do it. The Broodlords are coming back. Warps in a few Zealots, they finish.
One
he needs a target. He's bungled, but it looks like he's going to get the Spire without Transfuse. Where's the Transfuse? No Transfuses.
No Transfuse. Did he have a Queen nearby? I actually think he did.
Yeah,
yes. He didn't have energy.
Yeah, he had like 48 energy when that happened, so.
Well done, though. This is exactly what you need to do, and viOLet made a mistake. viOLet did not think that there could be a War Prism drop this early. He tried to get the Spine Crawlers, but it was a bit too late.
One Zealot killed the hatch. These sentries are actually intentionally being thrown away.
Yep. He doesn't need them anymore. And they're not useful for the fight, so he throws them away. It looks a little bit awkward, but that's what he does.
Yeah, he's got this base down near the bottom right, so he's going to easily make up for the gas loss there. You know, I would like to see one sentry in the fight. Okay, yeah, he saves one, because the Guardian Shield is going to actually be useful. But no Force Fields matter here. This hatchery, again, viOLet is not able to get a 5th base. He's going to lose this hatch as well, and he's starting to lose resources.
Yeah.
You know, he's down in supply.
He has a nice bank, but the bank is mostly in minerals, not in gas. A lot of infestors now, the bane of every Protoss player. 14, he will have 14 infestors. And at this point we have the mothership, so the mothership already starting to accumulate energy. A lot of Archons now being morphed, of course.
Yeah, his Archon count is now getting up to 6.
Oh no, no, again?
He has energy this time, he transfuses.
But how much? Ah, that is so close! Another hit would have killed it.
Well, he can come back later though.
Yeah? But if viOLet is smart, then he will just take another Queen, walk over and use Transfuse, and that's what he does.
He did that, yep.
There it comes. There comes the Queen. It was just a triple Transfuse on the Greater Spire, guys, that you have not seen on screen.
He keeps transfusing it. It's back to basically full health. In fact, maybe check it again. It's at 600 hit points now, so it should be okay.
Well done. There comes the double Stargate, triple Stargate, and the upgrades. He wants to go into,
probably Void Race, but he could also go Carriers.
I can actually see him go for Carriers. This is the Creator style. Creator on this map usually goes for Carriers immediately.
He had to force the cancel on the hatchery once more, even though the hatchery eventually got restarted and he didn't lose the drone. That cancel alone costs some resources, and also it's very annoying. It costs time.
Another thing that we currently see, which viOLet was skipping on a little bit, was the Neural Parasite. This is, of course, a situation that we talked about earlier, this gamble that you take when you have the Neural Parasite against the Vortex, and he's getting this upgrade now. And here comes the Graviton Catapult for the Carriers. He's going into Carrier production.
7 more Broodlords coming out, and Thank heavens he's going for Graviton Catapult, man. So many people skip that. Double core here, so he can research double air upgrades right now.
He got a second Cybernetics core, so that he can go for the double air upgrades.
Probably will start shields soon as well, as soon as his Forge gets that last armor upgrade.
I could have sworn that I saw the shields already.
I could have sworn I don't see anything right now.
Yeah, I don't see anything either.
Actually...
okay, because we have apparently our observer was just on a black screen, and at the same time... Oh, no, it's actually our observer that is lagging here.
It's Legend who's lagging out here, and that's what we can see actually on our screen as he's counting down.
Alright, PartinG, that's of course, we are 22 minutes in the game. PartinG is currently taking out the base to the top left. It has not been completed yet, so viOLet is just going to cancel. So it's a tense situation in the game, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah,
he cancels it, and I think we're actually going to have the blow. Well, we're actually just coming right back in.
We have the Korean stream, guys, you can see that already.
Here we go. Probably, we may have, if you see any GSL disconnected from the game, it's just our observer leaving. If he calls any more lag bombs, that will happen. But here we go. A great position for PartinG. He's actually starting to eliminate the mining at this base, and there's a massive warp in his Zelts, and they're going to go great for that Greater Spire again.
And here come those Broodlords. He can just, yes, there is recall. He can recall. That's the big point.
The Greater Spire is going down. He transfuses it. It's down to 500.
A beautiful move by PartinG. This was art. He is actually just drawing the position away from the Greater Spire, warping units in. This was such a crazy move.
The
so well done.
Infestation Pit's getting low. He actually has 4 Zealots on it. He's going to lose not only the Greater Spire, but this Infestation Pit as well.
Infestation Pit, we didn't catch that to the top right. Was killed as well, guys. Very important here. PartinG, such a smart cookie. This guy takes out the Spire. viOLet is in a lot of trouble now. He's trying to move out. He's like, okay, well, I take the game now. I have to attack now.
58 lings go down before his pool dies because he knows he's not going to be able to make things for a while.
That's the first
Vortex. It does not hit, though. But he gets a decent amount of those units in there.
He doesn't get the second Vortex either, but look how many of those Corruptors are already dead and there are still Colossus alive. But he loses a lot of supply. PartinG has the lead in supply though, and there's not a lot that viOLet can produce.
35 Roaches, that's all he really can make because he lost all of his other tech. With the economy of viOLet down so much here, he's not even mining from his 4th base. Not only is his tech bad, but his economy is so bad. The Stalkers blink in. I think there's too many Archons. He's going to be able to push through and take out the last of those Broodlords.
PartinG is such an amazing player. This is crazy. viOLet forced to attack because PartinG takes his entire tech down. And now he kills the Broodlord composition without the Archon Toilet. The circling run-bys have been stopped, and the only thing that viOLet can produce are drones and roaches.
Yeah. And... Uh-oh.
You gotta be kidding me.
Now it's the Korean PC that's having the problem.
We are getting low on people in the game. Oh wow. Do we actually have another person in the game, Wolf?
The thing is, this actually happened before, and I don't know if it's set up for a backup right now, but it might be possible to use my computer to observe. That's happened once or twice to me before my history of casting here, and I think that yeah, we're just going to go right back in as soon as the lag is done. That's what Heaven said. As soon as the lag is done, just continue playing. And here we go.
This is you. No.
No, it's not me.
This is Legend again. Yeah. We are back to Legend. Okay, guys. 165 army supply overall for PartinG. 135 for his opponent. The unit composition is important.
He needs to take out this hatchery, or rather the Nexus, but even if he gets the Nexus, he's going to lose all of his roaches. Then PartinG will be able to counterattack him, and he doesn't even have the damage output to take out the Nexus.
The army supply is in favor of PartinG. The upgrades are in favor of PartinG. Everything's in favor of PartinG. A base to the bottom right, a base at the left side of the map. PartinG is going to win this game. It is crazy. This guy is just so confident. He does not go for a 2-base timing attack. He's like, nope. I don't need that. I go for the 4th base. I go into a late game. I don't even try to hit a timing for Broodlords.
Yeah,
I am going for a late game composition, and I'm going to take it.
His multitasking with his drops was just so much better than viOLet. You know, viOLet actually had all of everything in his favor. He even had a fast Greater Spire ready. He had 11 Broodlords, but the Broodlords were really slow. Then he went up to like 18 Broodlords, and his army was too slow to stop PartinG's multi-pronged aggression. He took out all the tech. Then he took that Broodlord fight, and now PartinG is probably just going to take the game. He pushed through. He has +2 shields on these Archons. They're no longer just Broodlord killers. They are just killers themselves.
This is awesome. I can't get over the fact how beautiful that move by PartinG was when he just used the recall, completely put viOLet to the wrong side of the map, warped in units into the main base, took down the infestation pit, the pool, and also the Greater Spire. That won him the game. He did not even need to produce from those 4 Stargates that he had.
How many carriers did he make that game?
Not a single one.
And how many resources did he spend on upgrades for those carriers? So much, but he never even used a single one. Think about that.
He was ready for it, but he did not need it.
Oh my god.
That recall killed viOLet. It was a beautiful move by PartinG. viOLet played a strong game, but he was not ready for this one attack.
PartinG was too fast for him. He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Killed the Greater Spire twice.
viOLet was forced into attacking. He went and tried to kill him now. He saw that his entire tech was gone. He's like, okay, well, I go in, I have my composition, I have the units that I need, I can take the game now. But turns out that PartinG was just too smart at this point. He had too many units. The Archons did the damage against the Corruptors. All those units at the front, especially, of course, the Broodlings, were obliterated by Archon AoE and by the Immortals, sorry, Colossi that he had in the back. And the Stalker Blink took down Broodlord after Broodlord. A very crazy game by PartinG here, taking the lead. viOLet, on the other hand, showing us a strong game up to this point late in the match. And, well, he has to fight back now on map number 2.
Just confirming in the chat, everything is okay with the lag. We're not going to have any more. Map number 2 is going to be on Belshire Vestige. This is actually the worst map PartinG has faced. And in my personal opinion, this is the map to Immortal all in if he's going to do it just once this series, because this is the one where taking the third map is going to be so difficult against a Zerg player who's really good with his roach aggression, like viOLet. We saw last game viOLet had enough units to try to pressure a little bit, really controlled PartinG when he had that third base, then took a fourth. Imagine, though, if the map is so hard to defend in your third that it might just be impossible. You have viOLet in a situation where he's just totally controlling you, dominating you. He gets his Broodlords out. He gets a better position. It's a little bit tougher to do that Warp Prism Harass we saw PartinG do here because the base is a little bit more spread out. I could see PartinG definitely thinking here and going, alright, this is the map I do my Immortal push on. Let's find out what he's going to do, though. He's up a game in this best of 5. viOLet has a good map here. Can he tie it up? This is the GSL 2012 Blizzard Cup with Powder and Wolf.